Hey coding owls, welcome back to the channel. This video I am going to talk about JDBC, a very important framework in Java. Everyone has to go through it. Even like whatever advanced technology you work with, Hibernate, JPA, they all comes down and boils down to JDBC. Stands for Java Database Connectivity. It's an API which will help your Java application to connect to the backend. I will be using PostgreSQL in this particular video. So my RDBMS is going to be Postgre, and JDBC can basically connect with an underlying RDBMS using appropriate driver. So, an basic idea about how it looks like will be somewhat like this. See, you have your Java application. Java application needs to connect with your PostgreSQL. Now, obviously, JDBC is a part of it's a Java-based API, but my application is using JDBC API, and the driver here which will be provided to you by your vendor. In this case it will be Postgre. If you are using MySQL, this driver will be provided to you by MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft, and so on and so forth. So connecting to that driver, it will enable, so it's like a bridge. JDBC API wants to do something, it will pass on the command, and that command will be taken up by this driver, and this driver will give it ahead to the PostgreSQL, and hence the to and fro combination will work. So this is sort of an eagle eye view of how your JDBC connectivity between your application and Postgre looks like. So how about let's go and check out the components. So the components which are required for working with JDBC API, they all are packaged in Java.sql package. So it's an inbuilt package, and there are various components in JDBC API, starting from driver, connection, result set, driver manager, statement, result set metadata. Now you see I've created a small heart-like icon after driver manager because driver manager is responsible for it's like the heart of JDBC. It is responsible for connecting correct driver to connect database. Connection creation will be dependent upon driver manager, so it's a very important component of JDBC. Then we have got connection, which will interact as a connection between your application and the database. Statement is how you pass the data to the, or how you pass the SQL statements to the backend. Result set is how, when you fire a select query, how do you get that data back. And then we have got result set metadata. It's like a data about the data thing. So if you see the Java application connected with the JDBC API, it will connect with the driver manager. Now, driver manager will be responsible for connecting with whatever drivers are loaded. If your query is towards PostgreSQL, it will connect with the Postgre driver. So these are various steps which we'll be using. So for connecting our JDBC application to the database, step one, as we have already spoken about, is we import the required packages. Now consider this application as that you're trying to make a phone call. You have brought a brand new phone. You have got a SIM card. You have got balance in your SIM card. Everything required. Now, how does that work? So let's talk about that. So first thing, like if you want to make a phone call, you need all the required components, what I'm talking about. So all the classes, interfaces required to work with JDBC API are basically in your java.sql package. So the step one undoubtedly is going to be what? Import java.sql.start. Then next. Now here is where the connectivity between your application and your vendor driver happens. So here you consider we have got load and registration of the driver. Now you buy the phone. Who is responsible for inserting the SIM card inside your phone? We ourselves. Same way in our JDBC application, we are responsible that our Java application will connect with which database. So we have to specify, okay, this is the driver I want to work with, or this is the driver I want to work. For example, you can consider this is my Postgre SIM card and this is my MySQL SIM card. Now you are responsible for deciding which database I want to connect with. So driver which is provided by the vendor has to be loaded explicitly by calling the static for name method in java.lang.class. So one of the important step we'll do here as the first step is what? Class.forName, which will load the driver into your JVM, and driver manager will be able to pick that up. So once you load that driver, it will implicitly be registered with the driver manager. So driver manager knows that this driver is loaded, and now when you try to load the connection, it will know where exactly to. So the step three here is simply what? Establish the connection. So connection is like a session with the database. To acquire the connection with the database, we need to call get connection method, and we need to pass two things. We need to pass the credentials and then we need to pass the JDBC URL. JDBC URL is very important. See this. JDBC URL is made up of three parts: base protocol, sub protocol, subname, and they are separated by colons. So the base protocol is always going to be JDBC. Yeah, like we call HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and so on. This is JDBC. Then in your sub protocol, you can say we have got Postgre, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. So here it becomes what, like it is RDBMS specific. Which database are you trying to connect? And then you have got subname, where we specify the IP address, the port number, and the name of the database. So if you look at, for example, if I want to connect here, I am working on a database called as bot. So JDBC colon Postgres colon slash slash localhost 5432. Default port number for your Postgre is 5432, and I can change the name of the database. So I'll make it code with Z here now. My username is Postgres, my password is admin, and then this is how I load the connection. Once the connection is loaded, it's like you're giving the right call. So now you've got phone, you've got the SIM card, you know where to make the call. So this URL is nothing but the end person where you want to make the call. So this get connection is as equivalent as you're making the call. Now there can be multiple scenarios here. How about now till this point, we'll go to the application, start working on it and see how we can work with it. The very first step I want to do is start my PG admin, which is my database. Okay, so once my PG admin has started, I will just go to the servers, and under here, I will just create a database, and let me call it as CWZ-YT. That is for my YouTube channel. So CWZ-YT. Oh, it's okay, and I save it. So that database is created now, and Postgres is sort of case specific when it comes to the database name. I think I'll have to use it in uppercase now. So I am making use of IntelliJ here, and I just went into the project. I say file, new project, and in this project I go to Java. I select Maven, and let me call this project as JDBC hyphen CWZ. So code with Z, and let me select a directory here. So JDBC hyphen CWZ is the directory also I want to select, and I say okay. I select Maven. Yeah, I select Maven. I don't want the sample code here, and I will create, and I'll say open in the new window, and let us close the previous windows. So here you see I have got my project loaded in SRC, and I want to add a dependency. So the dependency here, I have to just give a tag of dependencies, and under my dependencies, I have to add another dependency here. So in my dependency, I need to add the Postgres dependency. So this way, what I'll do is I'll just go here, post it under my dependencies, and I will reload my Maven. You can also click on this M icon and reload it from here. So that is also fine. Or this the refresh icon which you were getting earlier, that is also fine. This way, you have added the Postgre dependency into your application. Now, in my SRC main, I want to do what? Create a new let us create a package first. Let us call it as com.code with Z, and create a database connector. So new Java class, and let me call it as connection. I cannot name it exactly like connection, so I'll call it as database connection. And in this database connection, what I'll do, step one, import java.sql.star, which we something we have learned all time. And now here I will say I have got a main method. Under my main method, I will first write my URL. So let's say string JDBC URL is what? JDBC colon PostgreSQL colon slash slash localhost colon 5432, because it is the default port number, and my database name is what? CWZ-YT. So that is cool. Then I have got username, and then I have got my password, and this password is nothing but admin for my current database. Then I start my try catch block, and under my try catch block, I will first write my trace, and then I say class dot for name And the driver name for Postgres is what given, and this driver will be available from where? From the library we have loaded. So if you see org postgre, we get this jar file which is under org postgre driver. And then what I'll do, connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection, and it takes three parameters. What are the three parameters? It will take the URL, it will take the user, and it will take the password. If all these three are fine and connection is loaded, then I can simply just say system.out.println connection established successfully. So if I get till this point, that means my connection is working fine. Let me try to execute this. Okay. So if my connection is established successfully, I am midway through and my connection is 100% successful now. Now coming back here is what we have got is we are creating a statement. So statement is like a container to pass an SQL query to the backend. Now statement are basically of three types. Statement itself is an interface who have two more sub interfaces amongst them. One is prepared statement, one is callable statement. Prepared statement is something which is used a lot. Yeah. So how do we acquire the statement? So to acquire a statement, there are multiple ways. Statement with the regular statement, what we'll do is con.create statement, and then we'll pass the query later on. But the difference is when you pass the query with statement, the query is checked and executed for 100. If you're executing it for 100 times, it will sort of be checked or compiled for 100 times. But when it comes to the prepared statement, you pass the query with the placeholders, and with those placeholders what happens, the query is only compiled once. They just check the syntax. Now you're responsible for passing the correct parameters to those query. Okay. And then when you want to work with the procedural calls, you work with prepare a callable statement. Now callable statement deserves a video of itself because it requires the procedural calls and everything. So we'll focus on prepared statement on this particular one. So query for prepared statement, as you can see, for example, consider we have a customer table which have name, email, contact, account type, account creation date. And what we are doing, we are passing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 question marks. When we pass those 5 question marks, what happens here? We are telling them we have got this, like this is the table and this is what we are passing: email, name, email, contact, account type, account creation date values. And we will be passing these 5 parameters to them. And when we pass those 5 parameters to them, now we'll have to understand how they work. So statement like step 5 here is now we are going to execute the query. So obviously databases have different type of query like DDL, DML, so which have your create, alter, drop. DML have your insert, update, delete. And then you have got the select statement. I have simple question here. When you do create, alter, or drop, you are sort of doing what? You're checking whether the query is executed or not, and is the table created or not. So this will more or less like a Boolean value check. When it comes to insert, update, delete, it will normally gives you an update in context to that how many rows were inserted, how many rows were updated, how many rows were deleted. So we sort of get a number here that this many rows are inserted, this many rows are updated, this many rows are deleted. And then when we work with DRL, that is data retrieval, we have got select statement. Now select statement will give us something back. That something back is nothing but a result set. So here what happens now, you see there are 3 different type of functions, and based upon prepared statement there are 3 different type of methods. So whenever you are working with the DDL statement, the function you will use is execute. So execute will do what? Like if it is, now I'll tell you why. When it is false, it is successful, and true is failed. Now this is very simple. They have mentioned this in the documentation. Then we have got pstmt.execute update. If we are trying insert query, update query, delete query, the function will remain same, execute update. It returns how many rows are affected. And your execute query will return you the number of the result of the query in the tabular format, which will be your result set object. So we will be checking that now. Let's see the prepared statement first. For example, if you're trying to insert the insert the record, how do we work? Or how about we'll come back after we have done with the create statement now. So let me first see, I'm going to use this whole as a boilerplate and then I'll keep on adding. So this time I want to do what? Create table. Okay, I want to show you a simple create table work. I'll do what? Whatever code I have written earlier, I will just copy that code, the main method. Okay, and here, and I will go to the top, and so the imports are automatically done for me. This time what I want to do, I'll have my query. I'll say string query is create table, let's say test table, and I will say id int and name text. Okay, so just trying a simple query here, and then we can use what? We can use statement, we can use prepared statement. Let me start with prepared statement. Prepared statement pstmt is equal to con dot prepare statement, and then I pass my query. So that is fine, and then let's import this prepared statement. So when you see, we are all is coming from java.sql, and then if you see boolean created is equal to pstmt dot execute. And when we work on execute, see the execute, the documentation says what? Execute the SQL statement in this prepared statement, which may be any kind of SQL statement. Some prepared statement return multiple results. The execute method handle these statements as well as the simpler form of statement handled by execute query and execute update. So they handle everything. So the execute method returns boolean to indicate the form of the first result. You might either call get result set or get update count to retrieve those results, or get more result. So for getting any more subsequent result. So if you see, it returns true if the first result is a result set. So I don't want result set, and false if it returns the first results is an update count or there is no result. So if there is no result, we are okay. So here I will be checking for false. So this time I'll say if not created. Yeah, if not created, that means it is false. Then I'll say table is created. So this is sort of an inversion in Java when you work, or else table not created. Okay, so let me try to execute this one. This time when I execute, connection was established and table is created. So if I go back and if I go to schemas and if I go to tables, you see there is a test table and the columns are what? ID and name, the table which we created from our Java code now. So this is how you create a table. So what I'll do next is let me go to the tables and create one table by myself here for customer. And in customer, what I'm doing, I say, let me add the column. So I'll say ID, and I want this to be serial, so that it can be, it is not null and it is also my primary key. Then I say name, which will be of type text. This should not be not null, but it's not a primary key. Then I have got email, which is again a text, should not be null. Then I want a phone number from the user, and let's create a text. Okay, let's create with a text, and here I will create a begin, which will be a number. I just want to show you how you handle different type of databases with the backend as well. And then we have got account underscore creation underscore date, and let's take the date here. So I take date, and this is also not null. So I want everything to be created here. So my customer table is created now, and it has how many columns? See, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Now, based upon these 5 columns, what I do is let's go back and let's see how this will work. So I have got name, contact, email, account type. I didn't add. That's fine. And then date. So how do you write the query? You say insert into customer. You specify the name, like name, email, contact, and account creation date in our case. And I will pass that many number of question marks here. And then I'll pass that query into my prepared statement. And now instead of in place of this question mark, I need to pass the value. So I'll do what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So set string 1 is name, set string 2 is email, set long now. 3 is contact, and set object. We are passing a date. So I'll pass set date. So this is how I will set up my data. And then when I have to update, I'll say update customer set email. We'll come back to that. So this time what I'll do is, again, let me create a Java class and call it as InsertData. So when I want to insert the data, I will again go back to my database connection, copy this boilerplate and post it here. And I will just replace this with asterisk symbol so that I don't have to worry about imports anymore. Then what I'll do is get my variables ready first. So I'll say string name is equal to Tom, and or I can take this. Okay, let's not mess it up right now. Then we'll later on we can take it from the user as well. String email is equal to tom@gmail.com. Long phone is equal to 998877654, something like that. And this is how we write a long phone number. And then I have got local date. Local date, let's say today is local date dot now, and that will give me the date for today. And now let's write the query. So string query is equal to insert into customer. Yeah. And what are the things I want to pass? Name, email, phone, name, email, phone, and account underscore creation underscore date. Then I have got values. How many? 4 values. First, let me create my prepared statement. So prepared statement pstmt is equal to con dot prepare statement of query. And then I say what? Pstmt dot set string name. Pstmt dot set second is what? Email. So I'll pass email instead of it. Then pstmt dot set long 3 is phone, and then pstmt, and this time it won't work. I don't want to pass it as a name. So instead I'll do what? Pstmt dot set object for and today. And then int rows inserted is pstmt dot execute update. If it is executed, I will get, so I can say system dot out dot println number of rows inserted is rows inserted. So it will tell me how many number of rows are inserted, and then I'll close my connection. So this way I'm trying to insert the data into my table. Let's see how that happens. I say run this. See, number of rows inserted is 1. This time I go back, right click, and let me give all rows. See, one tom@gmail.com. So this record is getting inserted same way. Now you can manipulate this query for update and delete so on for your customer table. Then the next part where we want to focus is fetching the results, which is for retrievation. So we have seen DDL, we have seen DML. Now it's time for DRL. So this is my customer table now, let's say. And from the customer table, we want to get some more values. How about we'll add 2, 3 more values into the table. So let's say Tom, Alex, and consider all accounts are open today. So that's not a big problem. I'll just change the phone number. Let's make it 2, 3 for now. And I execute it again. Then I say Mike. And let me make it 2, 4. And I run this again. And I have got John. So let's make it John now. And 5 again. So this way, what I have done is I will fire this query again, which will give me 4 records: Tom, Alex, Mike, John. Okay. And based on this, what I want to do is see, select name, contact. Now remember one thing, result set does not return you everything from the backend, but it will return you whatever you ask in the query. So it will be like name, contact, account type, account creation date in this situation from customer. Then I say prepared statement and it returns me a result set. It's very simple. But next is how do you navigate through the result set? So result set represents a Java object which has a table inside it. Yeah. And it contains the result set. It contains the result returned by the query and it has a cursor. Now this red arrow is like a cursor. cursor is always at before first, so it will always be here. If you want to go to the next record, you'll, and the idea is what, if you go to next, if the line has the record, it will return you true or false. If it does not have a record, it will give you a false. So you can move this cursor previous, first, last, and so on. So these are the various locations: before first, after last, first, last, and so on. Now, based on this, when you want to fetch the records, you will say rs.getString, either the column name or the column number. Column name is always the best part. So this is how it will look like. We say rs.next, get string name, get long contact, then account type, and then we are converting it to local date and so on. And then we pass whatever are the backend data, we pass on. So let us try to fetch the record. So here I'll say new Java class fetch data in my Java class. Then I say import java.sql.star. Oh, I can copy my boilerplate. Let's copy that boilerplate. Here, what I do next is string query is equal to select name, email, phone, and account creation date from customer. Then I will simply just create a prepared statement, which is prepared statement pstmt. We don't need to pass any question marks based here. So result set rs is pstmt.execute query. So this is fine. Now, while rs.next, so while they have the records, what I'll do is, let's say string name is rs.getString name. So we've passed the label of the column. Then string email is rs.getString email. Then long phone is rs.getLong of phone from the backend. And then local date account, and let's import this local date from java.time. And then we have got account creation date is equal to rs.getObject for account underscore creation underscore date, and we'll convert it into local date dot class. So this way I get the records, and then what I can do is system.out.println. Let's say this is my record beginning, and then this is my record. Then I pass name, email, for phone number, and then I pass my account creation date, and then I pass one more line separator, so that way I'll know that this record ends here. And then I say rs dot, sorry, I can simply say con dot close. Let's try to fetch this records. So I say run, and what happens next is I have got Tom, Alex, Mike, John. All records are loaded from the backend now. So these are nothing but the basics of JDBC, what we wanted to cover up in this small video. And as you understood, this codes, whatever the codes are here, I will push it to the Git repo. You can find the link in the description box. Plus, I will be adding up, like you can put it in the comments, what are the different type of challenges you're facing with JDBC, and I will add up those videos for you based upon the comments, whatever I get. I hope you like this video. You can leave a like, share, subscribe to my channel. It obviously boosts our confidence in creating such videos. Thank you for watching this video.